Now, I know I have been on a Spider-Man draw, and I'm gonna go back to it. But I kind of wanted to talk about this before I did anything with anything more with Spider-Man, before I forget, honestly. And that was Supergirl. So I saw the movie a little bit before I saw Spider-Man, so it's been like a bit over a month. So I've had time to rethink on it, see a little bit of videos on it. And honestly, I really don't think it was anywhere near as bad as, number one, as the box office says it was. Like, that's just nowhere near like the worst modern day superhero movie. Like I have seen some real dog ass movies, and I don't think that movie was anywhere close to as bad as the box office says it was. Nor do I think it's as bad as like people say it was in general. I feel like I saw a lot of videos, really ragging on this movie, really getting on the movie, and it felt like weird because I was like, I feel like we've seen way worse movies. I feel like we've seen like movies that are been terrible. I see like when you look up Supergirl, like people calling it a disaster. I'm not gonna say this one. It's called If the R Word Maxing were a movie. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that. That's not okay. And I see a lot of people talking about how bad this movie was, and I don't think it was anywhere near as bad as people say it was, man. Like, I think it was, I don't think it was perfect, what I'm saying? I don't even think it was great, and I don't think it was as good as Superman 2025 was, I thought that was a much better movie, but I don't think this movie was anywhere near as bad as people want you to believe it was, so I want to talk about it, make a quick video talk about it. And this is obviously going to be completely spoiler filled. It's been over a month at this point, so I feel like that's more than enough time to talk about the movie. So a lot of complaints about the movie. I'm gonna just talk about like my thoughts on the movie. Number one, I think it's a pretty solid movie. I don't think it's a top tier. I don't think it's S tier, A tier, but I think it's a solid movie. It's a decent superhero movie. Big thing I thought I came out of it thinking was, number one, I thought the movie looked great. Like, I thought aesthetically it looked great. I think a lot of these DCU movies have been like from what I've seen, like these movies have been terrific as far as how they look. You know what I mean? I feel like as far as like looks wise, they always have like really great creative, like not just shots, but like just settings. I think their set pieces have been great. I even think I saw a lot of people complain about this movie, how its last big final battle took place on like a very barren planet, but I thought that still worked out pretty well. I thought like the whole kryptonite green, I think it was green something, I thought that was like a cool way to nerf her a bit. I think the ship that they were on, like, I thought that was a solid like set piece. I think it was the weakest one in the movie, but I think like a lot of the set pieces were great in the movie. You know what I'm saying? My favorite personal one was her like initial space fight. I thought that looked great. I thought her ship looks great too. I think it like really helps sells her character as this like kind of, I don't want to say down on their luck, because she's not really a down on her luck character. She's like more, like just kind of going through the motions. So that's what I got from it. I thought like, being able to explore the universe that this takes place in, I thought that was great too. We got to see a lot of different like aliens. We got to see a lot of like very cool things. Like, I feel like a lot of superhero movies, like outside of like Guardians of the Galaxy, they don't really let you explore just how cool it is that aliens are real in these universes, and there's like an infinite universe out there, or not even universe, galaxy out there, that there's so many people that like exist. It's not just people that are on Earth, it's an entire universe, right? I thought exploring Krypton was great. I think it's really cool what they're doing with Krypton in this universe, right? I feel like it's a lot different from what we've seen usually, right? Like, everybody knows the original origin of Superman, but to have it where Kara is like so much more involved in Krypton's downfall, because that was her home for so long, and how hers was a much more like dragged out, a much more drawn out, like slow death, instead of, with Clark, where it was a more of a thing of like, it all exploded and was gone before I even knew what was happening, right? Like, I didn't have that personal feeling, that personal relationship with it as much, even though I'm from there, even though my parents, who are from there are dead now. Like I didn't have that same personal feeling that Kara did. I like how it's like so it's so much more drawn out, and it really plays into why she's just a lot more cynical as a hero than he is, right? She doesn't have that same like everybody can be great. She doesn't have that same like good personality. You know, she's obviously clearly not a bad person, but she's also so much more cynical. She feels a lot more grounded, you know what I mean? And I feel like that makes her like easy to relate to for certain people, right? I thought Millie Alcock. I don't know how to say her last name. I should have probably looked that up. But I thought she was great. You know, I thought she was really good in this movie. I think she really sold it well. I think she played in all of her scenes great, you know. I didn't really hate it. I didn't hate it. Yeah, and I just thought it was overall like a solid movie. I thought it was an overall pretty solid movie. I'm gonna just say Ruth. I thought she was cool. You know what I'm saying? She felt like she felt a little cringy, but I feel like that's kind of what they were going for. Like she is just a kid. Like, you know, this whole like revenge plot that she's going on, it's treated like how I feel like it should be treated on as. Like it's like, yeah, I mean, like I get it, you should be angry, you should do it, but you are just a kid. Like you don't really know what you're doing, right? Jason Momoa was born to play Lobo. Like I thought he was born to play Aquaman. Like I loved him as Aquaman. He played Lobo so well, man. I thought he was great as him. Like I thought he was great as Lobo. He was fun. He was fun. He steals the show every time he shows up on screen in any movie he's in. Like he just has a certain energy to everything that he does. It just makes you drawn to him as a character and as a person. Like I think he's great. I thought he was terrific as Lobo. I thought he was fun. You know, he was intimidating too, but he was more fun. Like it felt like they just let him really just do a lot, right? I like Crypto, you know what I'm saying? Just like last movies, over hype dog, you know what I mean? Yeah, but it felt like a good contrast from Superman. It felt like a very good contrast from Superman. Like it felt like, yeah, like it obviously wasn't as hopeful. It wasn't as like, you know, I don't want to say like, you know, it wasn't as like you didn't come out that movie feeling like as like, oh my gosh, I want to go do something. I want to go save the world like I did with Superman. But I think you came out that movie, but I don't think it was supposed to be like that. I feel like I came out like my feelings when I came out of that movie were, like I like that. Like it wasn't as big like a needle mover as Superman was, but I thought it still worked, man. I thought it still worked. I think it worked still, you know. I think it tackled the emotions in the movie really well. I saw a lot of complaints where that they felt like the emotions that you were supposed to feel from certain scenes, you didn't feel them as much. And I don't really think I agree. You know, like I'm not gonna say it was like Spider-Man Brand New Day, you know what I'm saying, or even the or even Superman's like speech to Lex Luthor at the end, like a level of like, oh man, like I felt that in my heart, right? But it still felt like you felt the right emotions from it. You felt that sense of grief that she's going through. You felt that sense of like hopelessness at times throughout the whole movie. You felt like you felt a good sense of there's a mess going on, but it's slowly being fixed, right? It felt like at the end of the movie, like while she isn't perfect, while she isn't like, you know, she isn't all of a sudden like goody two shoes now, she's better, you know what I'm saying? It felt like she's healed as a person, you know. It felt like this felt like a very good like road trip movie that was less about like a big super plot and more like a big thing on personal growth, right? Which I think makes sense because of the comic that it's based on, Woman of Tomorrow. That's kind of what it was on, right? I haven't gotten to read the full comic yet. I really should have. I just completely forgot. It slipped my mind. But from everything that I've seen, it is on that. So I'm not going to say too much about the comic and how it should be like the comic more. I don't know if that's what they were going for it to be exactly like the comic. So I'm not going to even talk about it. It was nice though. It was nice to see a woman-led superhero film, right? And I think this worked. I think this worked as a movie. I think this really worked. Now on to everything else. The villain, Krem. I feel like people were complaining about him a lot. I don't think he's not on the level of Lex Luthor. Obviously, like coming from Lex Luthor to him, you definitely are gonna feel like he doesn't have that same presence on screen. He doesn't have that same, like, you can feel it in his bones. Like, man, the hatred that Lex had for Superman really drove that story forward, right? Like, you definitely don't feel the same way, you know. And I feel like it's also like nowhere near as good as like so many different antagonists and villains in most movies, in most superhero movies. Like, I feel like they've been going a lot for you know, that sense of like, this is a villain that has reasons to why they are. Like, they're a step from being a from being an anti-hero, you know. They're a villain that has good reasons for it, but it's just how they go about it is what makes them a bad person, right? But I think it works not having like every villain be like that, right? I don't want every single one of my villains to be, you know, somebody that's like, that just is crazy, right? I like it when you have a villain that's just a bad person, and I feel like he plays that role so well. Like, I feel like he comes across the whole time as super underhanded, super nasty, super disgusting as a person. And I really like that, because I think you do need that sometimes. I think you do need a villain that's just bad, right? I think you do need a villain where, you know, their thing is they're just a terrible person. That's what he is. He's a horrible person. You know, he's a, you know, if you've seen the movie, you've seen exactly what him and his entire crew are based on, right? You see what his entire crew does, right? They're rapists, they're kidnappers, you know, they're murderers, and they enjoy it. They revel in this, right? This is their culture. This is their thing, right? And I think having characters like that, I think that helps people really see, like, because I feel like this is the type of movie that it's a lot more cynical, but I feel like you can really relate this to real life things as well, right? You can relate to seeing like terrible people that just do things and just get away with it, right? You can relate to seeing a hero that struggles with grief and struggles with being a good person, especially when you compare them to somebody like Superman, right? You can empathize with Ruth, with how like she must feel so misguided, right? So I think it works, right? I really do think like a lot of this works. And obviously David Corn Sweat as Superman steals the show every time he's on screen. He's terrific. One of the best like casting period for a superhero. Like, he's great. He steals the show as him every time. Every time he showed up on screen, I was like, yeah, he's awesome. I love him, you know. But he's not in the movie too much, and I think that's a good thing, right? Because, you know, you see him, you're like, oh man, you want to see more of him, but it's also like, this isn't his movie, right? It'd be bad if he took too much of the movie, because then it's like, oh god dang it, like, you're great, but like, you're not supposed to be this great, right? But yeah, like, that's kind of what I saw from it. You know, and now for the elephant in the room, the needle drop at the end, I didn't think it was that bad. Like, I remember when I was watching the movie, I was sitting there thinking like, all right, here it comes. Like, I'm expecting like some of the worst stuff I've ever heard. I'm expecting this to like piss me off. I'm expecting it to be completely taken out the movie, and I wasn't. It was like, I definitely do come out of it thinking like, you could have definitely used a better song. I didn't like the song choice, but I'm like, it wasn't bad enough for me to really like, man, that was terrible. You know what I'm saying? That ruined the whole movie. I didn't come out. I didn't see it. I don't really see the issue. I don't think the issue was anywhere near big enough for people to like really like rag on it as much as they did. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't think it was like anywhere near like as much of like such a big issue that you should be so like taken out of the movie because of it, you know. It really didn't feel like that to me, right? And I think this movie came out in a weird time, right? I think there's so many different movies coming out. There was so much going on around this time that it makes sense that it didn't do very well at the box office. But I really don't think that the box office represents how good the movie was. I think it was a solid movie, right? I think it really works, you know. I think the execution, yeah, it could be better, but I do think it works. You know what I'm saying? She starts off because she's not like a super confident, super like sure of herself superhero, because that's not what she is yet, right? Like, it really takes time out of its runtime to like sit with that. It lets it sit with her, you know what I mean? And I think it works. I think it really works, man. I think this movie is nowhere near as bad as people say it was, man. You know, like, And people are right, you know what I'm saying? There is issues with this movie. Like, the plot does feel all over the place sometimes. It does really feel like it's just, like, happening. But I think that works, man. I think that sometimes that works, having these, like, you know, obviously this is a big scale in the sense of, like, how much is going on, you know what I mean? But it's small scale. It's not, like, multiverse, universe destroying. This is, like, something that's really, like, boggled down to not that many people, right? But I think it works, man. I think it really works. I really do think that this movie is nowhere near as bad as people say it was, man. I really do think it's solid. I really do think it's solid. Millie Alcock was great in the movie. I think she was terrific. I think she was excellent. I am very happy that she's going to be back here. I'm very excited to see more of her, man. This feels like another Blue Beetle where, like, man, this movie did not do well at the box office. Now, obviously, this did way worse than Blue Beetle did. I don't remember exactly how that movie did at the box office. Yeah, it didn't do great. It did pretty bad at the box office. That's not good either. Like, both of these movies did really bad at the box, but I don't think it was that bad. I really don't think it's that bad, man. I really don't think. You know what I mean? It's definitely a disappointment compared to Superman, but it's hard to live up to a movie that good. Like, you'd probably want to see like a Flash movie or a Wonder Woman movie or a Batman movie. Well, Batman's in a weird place right now because, like, the Batman, and then it's like, all right, is he gonna be their Batman? But you know, you never know. But yeah, if I want you to take anything away from this, my mini review on this movie, this actually went on for a little bit. I think it really does it. I really don't think it was that bad. I think this was a movie worth seeing, you know what I'm saying? You can just get it on streaming at this point, because obviously you can't get it now in theaters. Like, if you could have caught it on like a Tuesday when tickets are half off, I think it would have been worth it. But yeah, I think it was a solid movie, you know? I'm excited to see more of Supergirl. You know, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to come away from this saying I'm very excited to see more of her. And yeah, but thank you guys for listening or watching, however you intake this, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Peace out.